Hello, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Nothing Like a Good Book. And there isn't, is there? Whether it's a hard, heavy mystery, murder thriller, romantic, charming love story, or a kid's book, beautiful kids book and series that make you smile and laugh and God knows what. And that's what we've got today. I got a fabulous author coming on. We're going to be talking kiddies. You might want to watch this for your little ones, all right? Because I think they're going to love this. Welcome to the show. It is dedicated to authors. We love to discover your book, promote your book the best we can, and sell your book for you, help you sell your book with all the other ways, no doubt, that your publicist is doing for you. And you can also go to nothinglikeagoodbook.com. That's my site. Have a look around, look at all the other authors on there, look at the reviews, and look at the wheel of growth if there's anything we can help you with, right through from an interview through to making a movie for you or a screenplay if you want, but a lot of things in between. So keep that in mind. Have you ever seen a raccoon in a suit? Well, I have. He's in the charming new kids book with an accompanying song, which you're going to be able to show you about later. He's the cutest, smartest raccoon on the sun, earth, or moon. He's in the trash every night. Is he? Or is he not? His suits are impeccable. His fur is just right. You know why? He's a business raccoon. A what? A business raccoon, the charming subject of Andy Gutman's latest children's book. It's written for kids 5 years old and under. And Business Raccoon, it's a fun tale about a raccoon who's involved in the world of business. Whoa, he wears a suit. At night, he parties hard, diving in trash. So he does. It wouldn't be a raccoon, would he, otherwise? Business Raccoon combines the adult world of business with a silly children's character, making a perfect read for our littlest businessmen. You want to check it out. It's absolutely amazing. So without further ado, I think what I shall do is bring on the author, by the name of Andy Gutman. Andy, are you there, mate? Hello.
I am. Thank you for having me on the show, Mark.
Oh, it's a pleasure to have you, mate. Pleasure to have you. And you've done a heck of a lot of good stuff. Your books. In fact, I think I've got, I want to show this one firstly. This is your latest book, is it not?
It is. It's my 11th book, and I'm really, really proud of this one.
That's the Business Raccoon latest one. Tell me about these that you've written.
Yeah, so the one on the left is Life Lessons from Brilliant Detroit. It's a book I did with a nonprofit organization. I went to, they buy homes in challenged communities and invite families to come in and learn life lessons themselves about how to cook and clean, and bring in people to teach them things. And it's kind of a safe haven in a rough community. Yeah. And so I did this book with, I want to say it was 12 children authors. They are now all published authors. And it was really, we took several subjects. You know, what does it mean to you to be kind? All sorts of different subjects that were really life lessons. And we took their ideas on those topics, turned them into a lovely book that can teach other kids. But I think the thing I'm most proud of is that at very young ages, we have people who will always be able to put on their resume, you know, at age 6, I was a published author.
Yeah.
And it really means a lot to me to be able to do that.
Oh, it's lovely and very kind of you. And of course, your site, folks, gutcheckbooks.com, all of his selection are there, including this stupid one. Who's this character? Tell me.
So this is Charlie the Caterpillar. That was my first book that I ever did. And that's him at the Brilliant Detroit home, holding up a few of the books that we had done, just being silly. But I find a lot of times the kids love the characters, and when they're brought to life, you know, we had some great sessions before we brought Charlie to the site there. And then the day we brought him there, that was, I think, their favorite session. They could care less about Andy Gutman, the author, but Charlie the Caterpillar, they loved him.
He should be the mascot for Caterpillar, you know, the machinery people and so on.
Yeah. That'd be a great one.
We've covered
reach
that.
out.
But what I want to talk about is this one: sweet, soft-hearted, and wonderfully entertaining. It's a delightful rhyming picture book with excellent illustrations. So who says that? Well, 5 stars. Our friend Grady Harp, Amazon top 100 Hall of Fame reviewer. And of course, it can be got on Amazon, naturally. And we're talking about this fella here in a suit, a raccoon. I mean, have you ever seen a raccoon in a suit? I tell you what. Let's see if this might come up. YouTube, it's got a weird label on that, but link. But that's what it is. If you'd like to go and hear all the various different songs, that'll take you to YouTube for the particular song for this particular book. Okay, so youtube.com. Now, Gut Check Books, that's what you call your company, yes?
Yes, absolutely. That's my main site.
So if people go to, which is a great thing to do, the one thing I love about a website, it's your home address, like a store. People can go there, can sit down, relax, go through with the kids if they want, on the lounge room table, the little ones. Actually, what's your age on this that you're working at? Up to 5 and what?
Yeah, I really like to think this is it's a book for children of all ages.
Right.
And I think adults will get as much out of it as the children will. We say it's up to 5 years old as a starting point because of the simplicity of the topic. But I really think, like a lot of books like Dr. Seuss, my hope is that children of all ages will love this.
So how do you simplify, your job as a businessman into a children's concept?
Yeah, that's interesting that you asked that. So this really came about when my daughter was very young. I used to rock her to sleep, and I'd make up little songs and goofy tunes to sing to her so she'd go to sleep. And mostly because she probably couldn't stand the sound of my voice. My singing voice should never be heard. But we were looking out into our front yard from her room, and there was a raccoon that used to run around the front yard.
Right.
And I turned that little guy into the Business Raccoon, trying to take aspects of my business life itself. In my daytime job, I work as an executive at a commercial real estate company. And so this was a nice, cute way to get my daughter to fall asleep, to tell stories. And it turned many years later into the Business Raccoon. And that's he's a fun character who
sure is
hard
working. Well, I mean, you can't be too hard on him now getting in the part night into the garbage bins, because he sure isn't going to get any royalties from your books. That's for sure.
That's very true.
What does a song, do you think, have to do? Adding a song in addition to the text, what does it provide for readers, do you think?
I think that makes it more memorable and more fun. When you have something catchy that you can sing along to, I think that makes all the difference to kids and to adults. It gets in your head, and you just can't forget that. And that's what I think makes it worthwhile. I think people will love the illustrations, but the songs always come first to me before they turn into books.
It's interesting, isn't it? Songs, when do they come to you? 3 a.m, breakfast time? When?
Usually I do all of my writing and my musical work, my books, late at night. I'm not much of a sleeper. So, I'm up and awake, and whatever has been folded into my brain suddenly pours out at 2 or 3 in the morning. And that's usually where they come from. This was about
interesting
9 o'clock at night when my daughter was going to bed.
Okay, interesting. Yeah, 3 in the mornings for me, the same. Wake up with an idea or something else. And they say you shouldn't force yourself to go back to sleep. You should get up and write and do something, at that particular time. I think it's your angels talking to you, giving you something. So the charming subject of Andy Gutman's latest children's book is Business Raccoon. It's a fun tale. Does he get into all sorts of stuff business-wise? I mean, do 5-year-olds comprehend business?
No, I don't think that they do yet at that age. But my hope is with that, we can kind of humanize business to them and get them interested in it at, an early age. And this was, there's notes about him doing taxes and taking college level classes and, helping people invest in the stock market. And, I think just instilling them with ideas like that at an early age
Right.
will make them more prepared for the business world when they're out of school, at age 22.
Right. I see two sides of this. Do you think there's people, you would have done forums, but I can see some people saying, oh, look, leave them alone, let them be kids. They're going to cop all this stuff older when they get older. You know what I mean? But
Yeah.
I see why you've done it, and it's not stupid. It's not stupid. It just, it gets them ready.
Yeah. It's just enough notes on business that they understand. They get to learn what those things are at an early age, but not enough where it spoils the fun for them. I think there's so much fun to be had in this book. And he's a pretty normal raccoon. He gets in the trash every night. He's he works out and plays around. He's goes out and dances. He's a fun raccoon.
I hope he cleans his suit before he goes out and dances. So Grady Harp, it's another fine book. He gives you 5 stars. I mean, another fine book from a sensitive and caring author who owns whose own role in the business, operating with ethics and integrity, is enhanced by his tender and educational invitation for children to explore. And while I'm at it, says our friend, Mr. Grady Hart, in addition to the text, Andy Gutman accompanies his books with a song. And Business Raccoon is no exception. The lyrics from Business Raccoon follow the text, allowing children to sing along while they read. As you were saying, that's a nice, very nice idea, isn't it? Don't you think?
Absolutely.
How does this book fit into the themes of your other children's books, do you think?
Yeah, I think it's a little more lighthearted than some of my books, but at the same time, it's uplifting, it's positive, which is really what I want every one of my books to be. I usually try to teach lessons to kids, be kind, stand tall, be proud of yourself. And this is no exception. There's lots of positive concepts in here for people to get while not beating you over the head with those ideas.
Right. Well, why children? Why
so
not, other dramas and adult books and all this jazz? When was it you started writing, and why is it children's books?
Yeah, I've been writing poems and music and songs since I was really young, and I never thought I would move forward with any of that, mostly because I have a terrible singing voice and I can't play a musical instrument. But I used to work with a gentleman at my office who he worked right next door. He was a really funny, kidding kind of guy, but he'd come in my office every morning. We were the first ones in, and he would tell me, I'm 5 years away from my retirement, and I'm going to do this, that, and the other, spend time with the grandkids. And then it was 4 years and 3 years. And the sad part is, one day he went home from work and he passed away instantly from a heart attack. And
Wow.
the sad part about that is he never got to do all those things that he wanted. And I went home and, for weeks, I was contemplating what I wasn't doing in life. And the one thing was I left no legacy for my daughter at that point, nothing that she could share with her kids, her grandkids. And I really wanted to do that. And so I started pulling out the songs I had written and started producing them. I found my way on the internet and found people who could help.
Yeah, what a great idea, right? A legacy for when I'm gone, Grandpa, your daughter, your son's kids, because it's too late then and it's afterwards, but this lives on forever, doesn't it?
That's the hope, is that it lives on forever, and maybe she adds to it. One of the books that I wrote, we sat down and worked on that together. It was my second book, and she sat with me at a book fair. We were working, and she was kind enough to come join Dad on a 90-degree day outdoors. It was an outdoor book fair, and and we wrote a really nice book called "What Can I Be Today," which talked about, she was thinking at that time, what does she want to be when she grows up? And so we wrote that together. And so there's so many pieces to the legacy that we're leaving together, which makes me so proud.
Yeah, yes, it would. Very, very nice. We've talked about themes, kiddies' books, and so on. How does your personal life really inspire you to write these books? I know you mentioned when you were very young, you wrote songs. That's interesting. Did you want an artist to sing them if you thought you couldn't?
Well, when I was really young, I still had delusions of grandeur with my singing. So I thought I could actually do that one day with enough practice. But I was always brought up, my parents would play music in the car, and they taught us a diverse love of music. It was everything under the sun.
Right.
And I just grew up loving it. If we were playing basketball on our driveway, we had the music playing, and it was just interwoven into my life. And that's really how, I got started on that. My dad was an English teacher, so he taught me a love of poetry. And that's really how I got started on it. And over the years, I found, with help from the right people, someone with a good singing voice, musicians who could put together the backing to the vocals.
Right.
I was able to do it all, and it's breathed new life into my life.
There you go. That's a nice thing as well. This one here, you want to bring up for a reason. Where's the hello there?
Yeah.
Brilliant Detroit. Flying Books. Their review, another 5 stars. Geez, your head must be getting big, mate. Andy Gutman created this story when he was having some health issues. Were you having some health issues, mate?
Yeah, so approximately a year and a half ago, I was feeling really bad. I was actually at an airport going to speak to a business crowd, and I got a call from my doctor. I'd gone in for tests, and he said, "You really need to get to the hospital really quickly." And I said, "I can't. I'm leaving right now." He goes, "Don't get on the plane. You need to go to the hospital right away." So I did, and I found out I had renal kidney failure. Both my kidneys had stopped working.
Oh.
So, it was a long year and a half. It was a shock. And so, I went to the hospital. They got me started on dialysis. And during the time I was in the hospital, I was looking for inspiration. And, I started thinking about it. And I said to myself, even though I'm going through a hard time, I really have so much in life that I'm grateful for. And if I pass today, I have no regrets. I lived a good life. I should be so grateful for that. And I wrote this book from the time I woke up that morning in the hospital till the end of the day. I wrote it. I passed it along to my designer, my graphic designer, and we put it together. And I got it all the way to the point where I was about to publish it on Amazon and in the bookstores. And I started thinking about it, and I said to myself, it was called Grateful. It was about gratitude in the world, but it was such a heavy topic that I said, I don't want to put that in front of kids. I want them to be kids for so much longer and not worry about something bad. And right. I shelved it. One day I might put that out for adults who are going through hard times. But I turned back and said, what can I pull out of my bag of tricks that's lighthearted and fun for kids and
my bag of tricks
will make them smile?
A shock. So if you'd have got on the plane with renal failure, what would have happened?
Well, that was at a point where, it could have resulted in death. I was that close to that.
You weren't meant to go, my friend, or your blueprint wasn't done. So
that's right.
Well done. And, you made use of a bad time is what I'm trying to get at. You've had some health issues. You're okay now, right?
Yeah, right now, the only thing I have left to do, I went through a lot in the last year and a half. I've had 9 surgeries.
Wow.
It's been a trip. But right now I'm on the kidney waiting list to get a kidney. And that's the only thing I have left to do is, my health is really good right now other than.
Yeah, you look it.
Thank you.
But we need a kidney, folks.
Yeah, so if anyone has a spare one to donate.
I believe can be, difficult.
Yes, it can be a long process. I've got lots of people who are trying to donate right now, and I'm hoping one of them comes through. But
isn't that great?
I always tell people
too for you. because we
Thank
need
you.
your stuff in the world, Andy. We
Oh,
need some
thank
more
you.
smiles and stuff at the moment. Wouldn't it be lovely
Thank
if those poor devils overseas, those little buggers, got to see and read these books? Wouldn't they think it was terrific?
you. Hope so.
Anyway, your book was called Grateful, as you said, when you were in the hospital, and too heavy for kids. So you switched gears, and instead you wrote a fun book about this business raccoon that children could read and enjoy. This isn't Andy's first dive into children's books. He's also the author of Even, Charlie the Caterpillar, Pop Lullaby, What Can I Be Today, Be Kind, and many more, all of which highlighting the importance of trust, love, and kindness. And that's very, very good, with its rhythmic charm, expressive illustrations, and a hero who can close a deal and rate a trash can with equal confidence. Business Raccoon is a delightful addition to any children's library, any child's library, your child. What a beautiful gift. What have we got coming up? Well, it's not Christmas. It's Hanukkah. Well, any day for books like this, any day is what I say. Flying Books Reviews, thank you. 5 stars, mate. Well done. Good on you. What about other awards? Anything else coming out of somewhere for you? Any talk about, cartoons being made or anything?
Well, that's the ultimate hope, is one day one of these books is turned into a children's series or a movie. That's the ultimate goal. But, really especially prior to getting sick, what I love to do is I get out with the kids and read to them in their schools, help tutor them. Like I said, we've created 30 children authors since I started this that are all published, and I love that. But to me, if I make a difference in one child's life, that's the real happiness for me. Everything else is just a bonus. Yeah, that's
absolutely fabulous. Yeah, that's good, mate. So, what do you think kids can? We have touched on it, but in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 style, what can the kids learn from Business Raccoon?
Yeah, I think there's several things to learn. One is, the simple lessons are enjoying life and doing what you love to do. I think that's really important. Kids learn that at an early age, that, a lot of times families will tell you when you grow up, you're going to be, like my dad told me I was going to be an accountant. That's it. You're going to school for accounting and that's what you're going to be. And I found I never loved accounting, but I loved business and I loved real estate, and that's what I do. And every day I get to do what I love, which is awesome. Yes.
You're the 1%. Yeah. Well, our parents only love us and care and try. And, in that era, it's all about where, parents wanted you to be something just so you'd have a future, security, always have a job, and have a better life. And he was trying to do the same with you, no doubt, in reference to you being an accountant. You can't do anything. I'm a marketing guy, right? And I've always got to go to the bean counters first.
That's true.
They kill your projects half the time. That was when I was in real estate myself, as well as many other things. But I was in leisure and resorts. I love palm trees and sand.
That's beautiful.
But those days are gone. That's my end goal. I have a beautiful little hut on the beach somewhere private where I can just ride and ride and ride, and help others through doing that as well. This is the book, Mr. Business Raccoon. He's cute face, funny, lovable. Let's talk about the illustrations, because there's no doubt about it. Like in the norm, a good book cover can sell the book. This sort of thing with kids, well, you need a top illustrator to elevate the stories, I would think. So where did you find this character from?
So, a lot of things I do, I find on the internet, and so I went on a site called Fiverr and interviewed, I think, 50 illustrators before I found the one that I loved. And because the illustrations were so important to me. And I found this amazing illustrator who's been, starting on on these books and has been with me the entire time. He's halfway across the world from me, and he's amazing. And by now we've got a rhythm down where, he can produce this very, very quickly for me if I need him to.
Right.
There's always some other nonprofit or that wants me to help them write their next book, and I love doing that. And so it's great to have a good illustrator to help me with that.
Yes, that's interesting. That's very interesting. I'm working with a couple of nonprofits at the moment on a consulting basis for their marketing, and it's good to keep you in mind, quite frankly, because I think there's something there. Any plans for the future books?
Yeah, right now, one of the things I'm finishing up, it's for a nonprofit, for the Chaldean American Chamber of Commerce out in Michigan. I'm finishing a book that is I Am Chaldean, which the Chaldean culture is a very small part of the United States. They're Iraqi immigrants that came over, and there's probably less than 500,000 across the U.S., but a couple 100,000 here in Michigan, and they wanted to educate the world on who they are. And so they brought me in to write a book. It's coming out over the next week. I don't think I'll have my name on that one because I want it to be theirs, and I'm not born into the community.
All right, I'm going to throw one at you right out of left field, okay?
Yeah, please.
Because you're a caring man. With all the stuff that's been in the news, right? Michigan seems to be the spot where so many immigrants have gone to.
Yeah.
Different, various countries. Now, in doing this, how are they going to get through that negativity?
Yeah, the one thing I found is during the last several years, especially when the world can be negative and there's all sorts of challenges, Michigan has become a place where people can fit in the community, no matter where they're from, who they are, the color of their skin, their religion. We interact together here so very well. I think part of it is that, we've always embraced the community itself. We never, during the times, the Great Recession and other things, a lot of people turned on the police, they turned on the community, and we stayed together.
Right.
And Michigan, always thinks it's us against the rest of the world. So anyone that's here is treated equal and wonderfully. And I'm really very proud to be a Michigander.
There you go. Nice message. Haven't been there yet. I'll get there one day. Nearly worked there in a place called Cadillac. Is that, that one?
Oh, yeah. I know Cadillac. Yeah, it's part of northern Michigan.
And years and years and years ago, I met a nice young lady from Kalamazoo. Is that right?
Yep, Kalamazoo is another great place in Michigan.
One. There you go, a couple of names.
Yeah.
Business Raccoon is the name of this particular new release. Now, how does anybody buy the thing? With this here through your website? No, that's not the right one. This one. Through your website?
Yeah, my website, which is gutcheckbooks.com. They can also go to Amazon. And if they're fortunate enough to have a small bookstore in their town, usually you'll see a couple of copies in that local bookstore. I'm always very fortunate for those local booksellers who are staying in business and more than that, promote my books. It's a fun place to go and read to kids, and I'm always grateful.
So you do that locally? You go and do readings for children?
I do. I have not since I got sick, except for remote readings. But I'm looking forward to getting back to health and getting back out there in schools. As you know, schools are kind of a petri dish for sickness. So I try to stay away, at least at the moment.
Yeah, but I love the idea of you of doing that, of your time. It's complimentary for little ones. And it's almost, how about a sort of like a babysitting business? Mom or dad can go and get a break somewhere, leave them with you, all sitting around in a ring while you read the stories to them.
Absolutely. And that's what they do at some of the bookstores. They do leave their kids there.
They do that, do they? There you go. I'm not an idiot. All right. That's lovely. Congrats to you, mate. I hope you get that kidney soon. I pray for you.
Thank you.
And I hope this book really does well for you. I think it will. But Gut Check Books, interesting name, Gut Check. What's the deal behind that?
Well, A gut check is when you give yourself a second thought, a review of things, and make sure that that your line of thinking is accurate. What's on the inside? What are you feeling about it? And oddly enough, I used to advise a youth group when I was in my early 20s, and
Right.
one of my kids had trouble pronouncing the name Gutman, and so over the course of his years with me, Gutman turned into Gut Check, and it always stuck with me as, I always thought it was kind of a cool name, and that became, Gut Check Books and Gut Check Music, which is separate from this, and I always loved it.
Interesting story in that. So you can't give us a sneak peek of what's coming? What's
Yes.
the one up here next?
Yeah, so I mean, after the Chaldean Chamber one, I have 6 books that I've written that are still in storage for me, that I'm trying to pick from next, and I get together with my daughter this weekend, and I'm so excited. We're going to spend time going through the books, and she's going to pick the next one. So
All right.
I have one in my mind, but since she is my aspiration and my inspiration in life,
Right.
I'm letting her pick that out. But next time I'm on, I look forward to telling you in advance. And once it's picked, maybe I can even give you a sneak preview
That's
before
great.
the public gets it.
I've only had one other author in the past, Don Campbell, who does beautiful children's books. Illustrations are divine. Enchanted reads, enchanted dreams, all sorts of things. Unicorns and fairies in the forest, kids. It's on the site, by the way. If you go to nothinglikeagoodbook.com, you'll be able to click onto his actual show, the interview with him, and have a look at his stuff. But he does beautiful stuff too. So there you go. I've had two authors now with lovely children's books on the show. So that's lovely. Thanks for being with us, mate. Absolute pleasure. What a lovely man. So there we go. Business Raccoon for today. Thank you. Oh, before I forget, thank you for the nice emails. People take time. Busy, 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 busy. Everybody's busy. Of course you are. Busy to live, isn't it? But thank you for the emails, with the encouragement. The biggest thing, because you're watching them on YouTube, of course, is to be able to, but people do watch them on other areas, LinkedIn and Instagram. But sometimes YouTube is probably the best, because you can get to see the full shows as they are. And but you need to support. If you'd support that particular, my channel, it's youtube.com/@ Mark Bishop Media Podcasts. All right. And support that would be great. I could appreciate that. Tell some friends. We're dedicated for authors. There's got to be more out there discovering your book. I want to know what you're writing and promoting your book. I think I've got a couple of very heavy, serious ones coming up soon, and selling your book. Your publicist, they're helping you and whatever. And I hope you do well and sell a lot. And if you need some other help at all, just go to nothinglikeagoodbook.com. Have a look at the growth wheel. We might be able to do something for you affordably. Okay. All right. Thanks for having us. We've got to go. And there's only one thing, which is a lot of after sharing with Andy, and that is, you've got to be kind to each other.